This is what I'd like to do today. We'll talk a bit more about the future. Last week I introduced you to the future. Today we'll talk a bit more about the future and finish it off. Okay. First, I'd like you to look at these 6 sentences which I showed you last week. Can you explain why these future forms are used? I'll give you 5 minutes to do this exercise. Can you explain why these future forms are used? 5 minutes. I can't explain why, but I think we will lose this time. Why is the future form will used here? Yeah.
Prediction.
Prediction. Prediction based on what?
Opinion.
Opinion. Thank you. Will is used for prediction based on opinion. You don't know, you just feel, because you know in general. This is general kind of knowledge you have, or you have a feeling. This is an opinion, no evidence. Look how much behind we are. We're going to lose the game. Anyone? Yes?
Prediction. Based on something we can see.
Evidence.
Yes. You sound like a robot. Prediction. Based on something we can see.
Yes.
But you're quite correct. Going to use for prediction based on evidence. So the evidence here is you're very much behind. And the result is you're going to lose the game. So if there's evidence, something that you see now, on which you base the prediction, then you use going to. So will for opinion, going to for evidence. Yeah?
Yes.
Right. 3, 4, and 5. What's the difference between these 3? Anyone? I'd like to explain that too. Someone in the back? Yes, Neil? Will here is not used for prediction. No. No. Yeah, Tim?
3 is immediate decision.
Immediate decision. Yeah.
4 is set arrangement.
Yes.
And I think 5 is a plan.
Yes, 5 is a plan. Very good. So 3, 4, and 5 are related in that 3 is an immediate decision that you take now, right now. Wait, don't carry that alone, I'll help you. You take that decision right now. I'm helping you tomorrow, remember? This is a fixed arrangement, something you put in your diary, and 5 is a plan, which might still change. I'm going to help you tomorrow. You're quite sure, but something might happen which may change that, yeah?
Could 5 also be an offer? Because in the book,
Offer, yeah.
there's don't worry about a taxi, we'll take you to the house. Oh no, that's present continuous.
That's a 3, yeah. But 4, 5 is also an offer, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the book also talks about offers and warnings, something like that.
Yes, because in the book it says I will. So
Yeah, yeah, because will is used for immediate decisions, and we very often use this for offers. To make an offer. I will help you. An immediate decision. Yeah? And then lastly, 6, New Year's Day will fall on a Tuesday next year. Why is will used here? Anyway, certainty. Yes, certain future. This is certain. This is a scientific fact which cannot change. New Year's Day will fall on a Tuesday next year. That's why we use will. Very good. Well remembered. So here's a brief recap. Yes?
Sorry, sir.
Nice hat.
It's on the tape.
no problem, he did worse than that.
Okay.
Sorry? So here's a brief recap, overview of what we did last week. I'll briefly walk you through it. future with will, with going to, and future with present continuous. I said will is used to make a prediction based on opinion. Going to for evidence, and the present continuous is still to come. So opinion and evidence. I can't explain why, but I think we will lose this time. Look how much behind we are. We're going to lose this game. The first one is a prediction based on opinion, the second one on evidence. Then will is also used for immediate decisions. So when you decide on the spot you're going to do something. Going to is also used for decisions that were made earlier. Future plans. A plan you have. When you have a plan, you already made that decision earlier. And the plan is not so fixed, it may still change. Whereas with the present continuous, this is not only a plan, it's an arrangement. You put it in your diary. And then certain future, something which is absolutely certain, you use will, which you wouldn't for the arrangements, of course, because nothing is absolutely certain. So last week during the holiday, I planned to go to the UK. So a few weeks before that, I'd say I'm going to go to the UK. And then I booked it, so then I could say, I am going to the UK, so present continuous. Yeah? I'm going to travel to the UK. That was a plan. I'm going to travel. Then I made it into a fixed arrangement by booking the ferry. I'm going to the UK. But then on my way to the ferry, I got a message that the wind was too strong, so we didn't go. So that's why we don't use will, because something might happen, and it doesn't, and it changes. So we don't use the certain future for arrangement, of course. Certain future is only for things which are not going to change, unless something absolutely dramatic happens, like a apocalypse or something. Right. There's also a different way to arrange this, to structure this, namely around predictions and arrangements. Will and going to are both used for predictions, first based on opinion, the second one on evidence. So if we make a prediction, and I told you all of this last week, didn't I? Not last week, 2 weeks ago. When we make a prediction, we either use will or we use going to. And then will is used for an opinion or for something which is absolutely certain. Next year, New Year's Day will fall on a Tuesday. That's not even a prediction. That's a fact you're stating, right? Then the other group of future forms is used for decisions. Decisions which are made now, on the spot, immediate decisions, or decisions made earlier. I'm going to help you tomorrow. That's a decision made earlier. When you say, I will help you, you make that decision. Right now, when I say, oh, I'm going to help you, I already made that decision maybe yesterday or last week. And then finally, a decision also made earlier and fixed, put in your diary. I'm helping you tomorrow, remember? So going back to my example of the holiday which was cancelled, say I had an argument with my wife and I was fed up, and I'd say, I'll go to the UK. That's an immediate decision. Don't worry, I won't do that.
She'll kill you.
She won't. Then I can say, I will go to the UK. That's an immediate decision. I didn't think about it before, I just decided that on the spot. I'll help you. if I make a plan, I'm going to travel to the UK, I'm going to go to the UK, then this is a plan I have in my head, but I haven't booked it yet. When I say I'm going to the UK, I booked it and it's in my diary and I have a ticket. Yeah? That's the difference between going to and present continuous. So these 6 future uses of the future put under predictions and decisions. That may be a helpful way for you to remember. Okay, so let's go to the next part of what did I do today? Some new future forms. First of all, you've seen this before. What's the difference between has put and has been putting? I'd like you to tell me what's the difference between these two forms. I've told you before, but I'd just like to review that in order to move on to the next future form. Tim?
Has put is a past action that is now ended, and has been putting is a past action that's still going on, and it's made evident by her being tired.
Yeah, very good. Has put is finished. Why is it so quiet here? Well, the children are in bed because she has put them in bed. Why does she look so tired? She has been putting the children to bed. She's probably not finished, you don't know. She might be finished, but she might also not be finished, which is more likely here. But what you want to say is the action was very difficult. She took a long time putting the children to bed.
Was it also that the past or the present perfect simple focuses on the completion and
Yes.
the second one on the duration?
Exactly. The present perfect simple and the present perfect continuous. A continuous tense always puts the focus on the action itself, the duration of the action, how hard it was, how long it took, etc. The present perfect simple focuses on the fact that this is finished most of the time. Yeah. So with the continuous, we focus on the action itself, has been putting. This has been really hard, right? I've told you this twice already. This is the third time I'm showing this slide. Then, next one, had put and had been putting. This is not the present perfect simple and the present perfect continuous, but the past perfect simple and the past perfect continuous. Remember, this one, has put and has been putting. Has is the present tense. That's why we call this the present perfect simple or continuous, right? Had is past tense. That's why this is the past perfect simple and the past perfect continuous. Had put and had been putting. Again here, the ing form is used to focus on the action itself. The meaning of the two different sentences, has been putting and had been putting, is exactly the same. Has put and had put. Although the first one relates to the present and the second one relates to the past. So, and this is no new information, in case you're some of you confused. She has put the children to bed. This you can say when you arrive in the house right now, and you say, why is it so quiet here? Well, she has put the children to bed. Or you arrive in the house and you see the babysitter was exhausted. What you say is, why is she so tired? Well, she has been putting the children to bed. Had put and had been putting has the same meaning, but this is further in the past. You came home last week and you wondered, why was it so quiet? Well, she had put the children to bed, right? This is further in the past. The children were already in bed. So 2 weeks ago you came in the house and you noticed the babysitter was exhausted. What you said was, well, she had been putting the children to bed. And we focus on the action. You can say exactly the same thing for not for the present, not for the past, but for the future. So today I'm entering the house and I'm wondering why the babysitter is so quiet. I say she has put. Why the house is so quiet? I say she has put the children to bed. Last week I came in the house and I could see she had put the children to bed. Tomorrow I'll enter the house. This is future, and it will be really quiet. Will it be quiet tonight? Oh, it has a question mark. It's unintentional. Will it be quiet tonight? Yes. She will have put the children to bed. It'll be quiet tonight, I'm sure, because she will have put the children to bed. So not had put, not has put, but will have put. Not past perfect, not present perfect, but future perfect. Future perfect simple and future perfect continuous. She will have put the children to bed. This is an action in the future which will be completed. So an action which will be completed in the future. I'll show you the rules later on. Another possibility is tomorrow I'll enter the house tomorrow night, and I'll say, I'll wonder why is she so tired? So I think the babysitter will be really tired tomorrow night because she will have been putting the children to bed. Right? She will have been putting the children to bed. This is exactly the same as has been putting, as had been putting. It's exactly the same as will have been putting. The only difference is one's in the past, the other one's now, and this one is in the future. Will have been putting. Any questions about this? So once you get the idea of the difference between the simple and the continuous, whether that's present perfect simple, present perfect continuous, past perfect simple, past perfect continuous, or future perfect simple and future perfect continuous, the idea is exactly the same, only the time, the tense, is different. So again here, we focus, for the continuous, we focus on the action itself, right? How hard it was, how long it took, etc. Okay. So, here we have three sentences. Will have finished, will have been sprouting, and will have been working. The first one is in the future perfect simple. The second two, will have been sprouting and will have been working, are in the future perfect continuous. Can you think of specific rules for these three examples? For the future perfect simple and the future perfect continuous. What would be the rules for these uses of the tenses? Yeah? I'll give you 5 minutes. Let's discuss the answers. So we will have finished, will have been sprouting, and will have been working. Who would like to explain the first one? Yes?
First one is prediction.
Yes. Well, it is yes. And how does it relate to what I just explained to you before this slide?
That you use the basic future tense for prediction.
That's not what I'm looking for.
Never mind then.
Good try though. Yeah, it's done. Certain future when it's will finish. Will finish. This is will have finished. The rule for this one is an action completed by a time in the future. So, look back at this slide. Will it be quiet tonight? Yes, she will have put the children to bed, right? This is a perfect tense, and perfect tense is, especially the perfect simple, in this case the future perfect simple, focuses on the completion of action. So here, this is an action completed by a time in the future. Yeah? And be very careful. On the test, people always confuse the future perfect simple with the future simple, the future with will. So people confuse will have finished with will finish. But that's completely different. Will finish is a prediction based on opinion or a certain future, or even an immediate decision. But will have finished is an action completed by a time in the future. Very often, this one is used in combination with the word by. By that time, I will have finished my studies. Or by that time, I will have, I will have finished my first year. So this is an action in the future which will then be completed. By that time, I will have worked there for 2 years. Yeah? The second one is will have been sprouting is a continuing action, because this is a continuous with ing, up to a time in the future. So if it starts now, or sometime later, but by a specific time in the future, in this case when I come back, this will have been going on. So this is a continuing action up to the time in the future. And in this case, it may not be finished. The first one, this is definitely completed. We will have finished Adina. Yeah? I will have worked there for 2 years. I will have passed my first year. That's finished, completed action. The second one is maybe not completed, but what you want to stress is this has been going on. It's been ongoing. You want to focus on the action itself. This tree will have been sprouting beautiful leaves. A continuing action up to a time in the future. And the last one, he will be tired because he will have been working for 12 hours. This is to explain the reason for a future situation. This is the same as the babysitter being tired. She'll be tired. Why? Because she will have been putting the children to bed, which is really hard. He will have been working for 12 hours, which is really long. So he will be tired. Yeah?
When you have the test, do you really need to write that down? Or can you just...
Write what down?
To explain the reason for a future situation.
If that's what...
But can't you write down predictions based on evidence?
No, because that's the rule for going to. He's going to be tired. Look how hard he's working. He's going to be tired. That's a prediction you make based on evidence. Right? If you say, look how hard he's working, that's evidence. And then you say, he's going to be tired. That's a prediction. In this case, this is also maybe a prediction. But what you want to say is, you want to explain a situation that will happen in the future. So he will be very tired is a prediction. Prediction based on opinion. He will be very tired. However, what you want to say is, he will have been working. He will have been working. That's the explanation of why he's tired. And that's something, and you want to stress that's been going on. So then you explain the reason for a future situation. So maybe to, no, I'm going to make it more complicated than it is. So don't confuse this with the other tenses. Yeah? That's all I can say. So we use the present perfect simple and the the future perfect simple and the future perfect continuous to talk about something which is completed in the future, or an ongoing action up to a time in the future, which may also explain the reason for a future situation. Yeah? So this is another tense which is along the lines of the past perfect, present perfect, and now the future perfect. And don't confuse this with future with will, future with going to, and future with present continuous. And I realize all the future tenses is rather complicated, so you might want to rewatch the lectures and study very closely what's in your book. Sit down. Okay. On that note, I'd like to have a break. 10 minutes, and then we'll talk about some other future forms. Right, okay. Let's continue. So we've talked about the future perfect simple and the future perfect continuous. Those were two new forms today. All that's left, the future now, is some odds and ends, some other future forms which we need to discuss. So here is 9 sentences. Here are 9 sentences, and I'd like you to look at these sentences to decide whether they're incorrect or correct, and explain your answer. Yeah. So about 5 minutes. I'll give you the answers. The first one's incorrect. The second one is correct. And the third one's also correct. Why? The first one is a present continuous. Can we stop talking, please? The first one's a present continuous. The present continuous is only used for, in the future of course, for fixed arrangements. Now, my birthday has got nothing to do with an arrangement. You don't book your birthday. So, this is wrong. This is a fixed event, something which is fixed in the future. For a fixed future event, and I haven't told you that, you can use either future with will or the future with present simple. And that's the second one. My birthday falls on a Sunday. So this is also a future form which we haven't discussed, because it's not the most common one, but which also occurs. The future with the present simple. My birthday falls on a Sunday. This is something which is absolutely fixed, because this is how nature works, or this was put in a timetable or a schedule, etc. So you can say the train leaves at 8 o'clock because it's on a timetable, and that's why we can use the present simple for that. The sun sets at 7 o'clock. That's fixed. The sun always sets at a particular time. Nothing's going to change that. So that's fixed. Future with will is slightly similar, because that's certain future. However, if you want to know what the difference is, this one, the present simple, is more fixed than will, because if you say the sun will set, then it sounds slightly less certain than the sun sets at 7 o'clock. Yeah? So we use the future with the present simple. We use the present simple in the future for fixed future events, when they're in a timetable, schedule, when that's how things generally work in the world. Okay, the next three, I'm going to meet Tom, I meet Tom, and I am meeting Tom. The first one's correct. The second one's not correct. The third one is also correct. Why? I'm going to meet Tom for dinner tonight. This is an arrangement or a plan. So that's why we can use going to. It's an arrangement which has not been put in the diary, but which you planned. I am meeting Tom for dinner tonight. That's very fixed. I am meeting Tom. Very fixed. So that's why you can use this one as well. Fixed arrangement. The second one is the present simple. I meet Tom for dinner tonight. That's wrong. This is not in a timetable or a schedule. This is not a scientific fact. It's an arrangement. That's why here we cannot use the present simple. She'll let you know when the show finishes is correct. She'll let you know when the show is finishing, the line is incorrect. And she'll let you know when the show has finished is also correct. Now, why? This is one other rule when it comes to the present simple. Again, this is not the most important rule you need to remember. You still need to remember it. That's why we don't discuss it in detail. So let you know when the show finishes, after when or as soon as, and expressions like that, we also use the present simple. That's just a rule. Even though this is not a scientific fact or put in a timetable, it's just something that you need to remember. There's no rule, no explanation for it. When you use words like when or as soon as, and words like that, we use present simple after that. So I'll let you know when the show finishes. We cannot say she'll let you know when the show is finishing, of course. And she'll let you know when the show has finished. Also, after when or as soon as, and expressions like that, we can also use the present perfect when you want to stress that this is now complete. So she'll let you know when the show finishes. She might be in the show and then text you what time the show finishes. Or it might be before the show has started that someone tells her the show finishes at 10, and then you text someone to let them know what time the show finishes. This one means she'll let you know as soon as the show is over. She'll text you to let you know the show has finished. Yeah, so we can use the present perfect after these expressions, even though that refers to the future, because by that time it will be completed. So she'll let you know when the show finishes and when the show has finished. Any questions? Yeah?
What if when they are finishing the show and they are saying goodbye to everyone?
Yeah, that's also possible.
Then
Then
it's
that's
finishing,
possible.
right?
Yeah. So let you know when the show is. Should let you know when the show is finishing. Yeah, in that case you could. Yeah. If you imagine a situation where the show is drawing to an end and it's finishing, then you could say she'll let you know when the show is finishing. Yeah. Yeah. You're quite right. Any other questions? Okay. So this is the present simple for the future. Yeah? We can use the present simple for the future. There are some minor odds and ends which we still need to tell you, and that's these 4 uses of a tense for the future. Get ready, the greatest depression is about to strike. This oil is not to be used as a road fuel. We were going to travel on a Friday, and I was going to help him. Then I got distracted for 5 seconds.
Actions.
Sorry?
I said actions interrupt.
We'll have a look. Can you think of a rule for these 4 uses of the future? And these are very minor details which you need to know about, but they're not the most common future forms. That's why we cover them really briefly. These 4 forms, I'll give you again 5 minutes to look at this and think of a rule. I'll explain to you what the rules are for these 4 uses of the future. Get ready, the greatest depression is about to strike. Be about to, am about to, is about to, or are about to, plus infinitive. is about to strike. This is for immediate future. You can use this for immediate future. This is about to happen. Immediate future. So when you say something like "I'm about to faint," or "I'm about to do something," and then this is going to happen straight after you've spoken. Very soon. I'm about to explode. The second one, am, is, or are to plus infinitive, not to be used. So this is for formal situation, instructions, and use opposed to order. So in this case, this order is not to be used as a road fuel. You can also use this tense in formal situations like the Queen, the King, is to meet the President tomorrow. He is to meet the President. Students are not to enter the back door at any time. Yeah? Students are not to enter through the back door at any time. Yeah? So this is to be plus infinitive, or be plus infinitive. The Queen is to visit the United States tomorrow. For formal situations, instructions, news reports, and orders. So this is something which is very formal. We were going to travel on Friday. We were going to. Something we expected to plan to happen, but didn't. So this is what we call future in the past. It's not a great deal, but you still need to know it. We were going to travel on Friday. Well, I was going to travel on Thursday to the UK, but it didn't happen. Right? This is a plan you had, it was then cancelled. I was going to go to Newcastle, but it didn't happen. So this is something you planned and didn't happen. Yeah? You were going to work really hard for this course and then you didn't do it. Was or were going to also, this is also used to make excuses about something you failed to do. Like I just said, I was going to work really hard, but then I got ill and it didn't work out. I was going to do my homework, all my homework for this course, but then I fell in love and it didn't happen. Something like that. This is usually what happens, by the way. Not usually, but quite often. Yeah. Students enter this course and then start talking about working really hard, and doing all their homework, and making sure they get the proper hours in 1 year. And then, as soon as the butterflies start entering the school,
It's all ruined.
it's all gone.
He's lost.
So I was going to work really hard, but then something happened and it didn't work out. I got distracted for 5 seconds and then forgot. To make excuses about something you didn't do. So here we have 4 more uses of the future, of a future tense. Be about to, something which is happening immediately. Be plus infinitive, he is to meet, people are not to enter, is not to be used. For formal situations, informal situations, instructions, news reports, what have you. Then the future in the past, we were going to, so this is future but also past, it's slightly complicated. But expressions like I was going to, we were going to do this or that. When you plan to do something but it didn't happen, or you want to make an excuse about something you didn't do. Any questions about this? No questions?
But the third and the fourth one are basically the same.
They're basically the same. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. But then this one's an excuse.
Oh.
Yeah. But they're basically the same. Yeah. There's actually 3 uses of the future. Yeah. Okay. Here are 11 sentences which I'd like you to do. So can you fill the gap with the word between brackets in the right form? And I'll give you 10 minutes to do this. I'll show you the answers. Right? Here are the answers. By the end of August, they'll have been working on the new bridge for over 18 months. This is future perfect continuous. They'll have been working on the new bridge for over 18 months. You want to stress how long this took, so you use the future perfect continuous. You can come round at 6, I'll have finished work by then. This is future perfect simple because you want to say that something is completed by a time in the future. You won't have to wait for long. They will have repaired it within the next few minutes. Also, an action completed by a time in the future. They will have repaired. Future perfect simple. According to the website, there are 3 flights tomorrow. The earliest leaves at 7:30 a.m. This is a fixed event because this is in a timetable. Jack sent me an email. I'm afraid he isn't coming on Saturday. This is an arrangement you made, and he's not able to make it. And for arrangements we use the present continuous. He isn't coming on Saturday. I will phone you, future with present continuous as well. I will phone you as soon as I hear any news. Sorry?
Promise?
Yeah, a promise, yeah. Or immediate
Decision.
immediate decision. Yeah, this is an immediate decision. Yeah. Yeah, I'll phone you as soon as I hear any news. Yeah. Because you make the decision to do that now. You could also say this is a promise, yeah, an offer, a promise. Oops, sorry. Don't open your presents until we get there. For expressions like where, as soon as, or until, we use the present simple after that. Yeah? They were going to build flats here, but the builder went out of business. They were going to build flats here. That was a plan they had. They couldn't do it. So it didn't happen. That's when you use were going to. As a condition of this contract, you are to report a lost or stolen card within 24 hours. Of course, here it wasn't so clear. You could also have done must or have to, but if you link it to what I've just told you, then are to is a good suggestion. This is a formal situation, and in formal situations we can use the form of be plus to as infinitive. You are to report. Hurry up. Again, here you could do various things. A good suggestion based on what I just told you is they are about to close. They are about to close the doors. Oh, this one was multiple choice, wasn't it? Yeah. So this was the most obvious one. And then I expect the accounts to be ready by Friday at the latest. Any questions, Tim?
Could you explain which one is it? 14.
14.
Yeah.
I can see this one slightly complicated. Let me see what the other options. No. This is an arrangement you have. You made an arrangement with him, and then he cancelled the arrangement. So it falls under the heading of arrangement somehow.
See, I would have taken it as a plan since he cancelled it.
So what would your suggestion be?
He isn't going to come.
Guys, Right, he isn't going to come, is still open to change. He isn't coming, then he sent an email. That's my interpretation of the sentence, right? He sent an email, so it's quite definite that he's not coming.
Okay.
So this is maybe strange, but it's kind of an arrangement not to come. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
So if you say he's not going to come on Saturday, would be possible, but then he probably wouldn't have sent an email because it would still be be able to change. Yeah?
Yeah.
Any other questions? Okay. Then here's the homework. Unit 43 to 45, and do the exercises. I think we've covered all of the tenses by now. Past, present and future. It's a lot of detail to remember, so make sure you learn it all by heart. The test is coming soon enough, the end of block 3, so make sure you study hard.
5 weeks.
5 weeks.
Oh my god.